Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast, where we give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. I'm your host, Chris Borda, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness. Let me first thank you for taking time from your busy day to listen to what I have to say. Before I go any further, let me also thank our sponsor, Y.E.S Fitness. Most people lose the ability to enjoy life as they age. At Y.E.S Fitness, we help people age 40 plus get fit so they can live longer and enjoy those extra years doing the things they love to do. Our quick housekeeping here: if you want to get a timestamp or a transcript of today's broadcast, head on over to yesfitnessct.com. Across the top, you'll see a drop down for podcasts. Click on that, and it will give you access to any one of our now 382 episodes. You can also get this broadcast wherever podcasts can be found. So boost your longevity with PartiQular supplements. I talk about them all the time. On the Functional Longevity Podcast, I've shared the importance of finding reliable supplements to support healthy aging. After searching for a reputable company I could trust, I finally found PartiQular, a U.S.-based brand that delivers on quality, science, and integrity. PartiQular offers a wide range of premium supplements, including NMN for cellular energy and aging support, resveratrol to enhance heart and brain health, berberine for blood sugar balance and metabolism, and much more, all crafted with care right here in the United States, and that is important to me. I've been taking these products personally. I've tried all different ones, and I have noticed a real improvement on my energy, focus, and overall vitality. So if you're ready to invest in your health, visit particular.com. That's PartiQlar.com, and use the code YES15 at checkout to get 15% off your order. Your health deserves the best. Start your journey with PartiQular today. Forgotten fat biology that unlocks relief and drives longevity. We're chit-chatting with some of my college coaches the other day, and they were talking about how they learned this in school, and they were kind of amazed. And I said, you know what, let's talk about this, because most people probably don't know this topic, because most people still think that body fat is something passive, storage, extra, something that just sits there until you diet it away or burn it off. And here's the truth, and it's one of the most misunderstood ideas in modern health science. Your fat is not inert. It's not just stored energy. It is an active endocrine organ. And whether that organ is working for you or against you has massive implications on inflammation, insulin sensitivity, hormones, cardiovascular health, immune function, and ultimately how long and how well you live, which is why we're listening. Today, we're going to break this down clearly and practically. First, what the endocrine system actually is, why adipose tissue qualifies as an endocrine organ, how fat communicates with your brain, hormones, and immune system, what this means for aging and longevity, and most importantly, what you can do about it. No fear tactics, no shame, just physiology, clarity, and control. So what is the endocrine system? Let's start with the foundation. The endocrine system is your body's chemical communication network. Instead of using nerves and electrical signals, it relies on hormones, chemical messengers released into the bloodstream that tells tissues what to do and when to do it and how intensely to do it. Major endocrine organs include the hypothalamus and pituitary, your command center, the thyroid, which is metabolism, pancreas, blood sugar regulation, adrenal glands, stress response, ovaries, and testes, which are reproductive hormones. Hormones influence metabolism, appetite, fat storage and fat loss, inflammation, immune activity, and stress tolerance, and finally, aging processes. Now, here's the key insight most people never hear. Adipose tissue belongs on that list. What is adipose tissue really? What do you actually even know what it is? Adipose tissue is body fat, but not all fat is created equal. There are different types. Subcutaneous fat under the skin. We have visceral fat, which sits around the organs and which is very dangerous. And then we have brown and beige fat, with metabolically active fat involved in heat production. For decades, fat was viewed primarily as a storage depot for excess calories. But research over the last 30 plus years has revealed something far more important. Fat tissues actively secretes hormones, cytokines, and signaling molecules. These secretions are known as adipokines, and they have powerful systematic effects. That's what makes adipose tissue an endocrine organ. So, how adipose tissue functions as an endocrine organ? Fat gel cells don't just sit there, they talk. They release chemical signals that influence hunger and satiety, insulin sensitivity, inflammation, blood vessel function, immune cell behavior, sex hormone balance. Some key adipose derived signals include leptin, which is our satiety and energy regulation. We have pro inflammation cytokines like TNF alpha and IL 6. And we have our aromatase activity, which is conversion of testosterone to estrogen. This is where things get interesting and problematic. When fat is healthy versus when fat becomes harmful. Yeah, fat. You need fat on your body. Adipose tissue is not inherently bad. In fact, healthy fat tissue is protective. It safely stores energy, excess energy. It releases hormones in balanced amounts. It helps regulate blood sugar and inflammation. Problems arise when adipose tissue becomes excessive in amounts, inflamed, insulin resistant, dominated by visceral fat. At that point, fat shifts from being a helpful endocrine organ to a dysfunctional one. Think of it this way. You don't just have too much fat. You have an endocrine organ that is sending the wrong signals. So here's our longevity connection. This is where adipose tissue directly intersects with aging. Chronic long-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging, is one of the strongest predictors of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, neurodegeneration, cancer risk, and accelerated biological aging. Dysfunctional fat tissue is a major driver of inflammation. Visceral fat, in particular, releases inflammatory signals directly into your portal circulation, straight to the liver, disrupting blood sugar regulation, lipid metabolism, insulin signaling. At the same time, adipoxin levels fall, bad for longevity. Insulin resistance rises, bad for longevity. Hormonal balance shifts, and mitochondrial function declines, all bad for longevity. This is why waist circumference often predicts health outcomes better than scale weight. It's not just about fat you carry, it's about that fat behaves hormonally. It's how it behaves hormonally. Hormones, aging, and adipose tissue. So fat tissue also plays a direct role in sex hormone balance. As we age, testosterone naturally declines, estrogen regulation becomes more fragile, fat tissue increases actively. That means more conversion from testosterone into estrogen, especially in men, and altered estrogen signals in women. And this contributes to muscle loss, fat gain, bone density loss, mood changes, and metabolic slowdown. Again, this isn't about aesthetics. This is about functional decline. But here's the good news. Here's the empowering part. Adipose tissue is remarkably adaptable. You can change how it behaves. You can improve how it behaves. You can improve its hormonal output. You can reduce its inflammatory signaling. You can do that without extreme dieting or punishment-based exercise. So let's go over some lifestyle strategies that improve fat as an endocrine organ. Number one, build and maintain muscle mass. It's amazing how everything seems to come back to muscle mass, building muscle mass, taking in enough protein, lift weights, lift weights, lift weights. Skeletal muscle is the metabolic counterbalance to adipose tissue. More muscle mass means better insulin sensitivity, higher resting metabolic rate, improved glucose disposal, and healthier adipokine signaling. Strength training is not optional for longevity. It is non-negotiable, especially after 40. Number 2, prioritize daily movement. You don't need to annihilate yourself with cardio, but consistent movement matters. We talk about NEAT all the time. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Walking, cycling, zone 2 work, short bursts of intensity. This all reduces visceral fat, improve adipose levels, and lower inflammatory markers. Movement teaches fat tissues to behave. Eat to stabilize blood sugar. Repeated blood sugar spikes drive fat dysfunction. So prioritize adequate protein, fiber-rich carbohydrates, healthy fats, meal timing consistently. Undereating is not the solution. Starvation makes adipose signaling worse. Of course, we always come back to sleep as a hormone therapy. Poor sleep increases cortisol, worsens insulin resistance, disrupts leptin and ghrelin, and promotes visceral fat storages. We need 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. It isn't a luxury. It's an endocrine regulation. Manage stress intelligently. Chronic stress turns fat tissue inflammation. Chronic stress turns fat tissue inflammatory. You don't eliminate stress, you improve resistance to sense. It's resilience, breathing works, recovery days, timed outdoors, realistic training loads matter more than most people realize. So reframing fat for functional longevity. And here's the reframe I want you to take home here, okay? Fat is not your enemy. It's not an enemy. You need it. Dysfunctional fat signaling is your enemy. Your goal isn't just fat loss. Your goal is healthy endocrine communication. When adipose tissue functions properly, inflammation decreases, hormones stabilize, metabolism improves, aging slows. That's functional longevity. So next time someone tells you that fat is just dead weight, remember this. You're not just managing body composition. You're managing your endocrine system. You're managing one of the endocrine organs. And when you train, eat, recover, and live intentionally, you can turn that organ into an ally instead of an obstacle. That's how you get fit. That's how you feel younger. And that's how you live better, longer. So thanks for listening to the Functional Longevity Podcast. In this episode, help reframe how you think about fat, hormones, and aging. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And always train for life, not just for looks. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with more information on how to get fit, feel younger, live better.